I can't go to sleep.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'd like to welcome everyone to the regular scheduled meeting of the Angelina County Commissioners Court. It is Tuesday, July the 10th, 2018. Let the record reflect all members of the court are present this morning. We have with us the Reverend Elton Music from Grace Baptist Church here in Lufkin. He's agreed to come and lead us in our prayer this morning. We all know we need prayer every day in our lives, so Brother Music, please lead us in prayer.
Father, we come again from the courts assembled. Father, we come this morning to conduct business. Father, we know, Lord, that we can't control the weather, we can't control the sun, but Father, we control what goes on. I pray that you'll give this court the wisdom they need to make the decisions and the backbone to stand behind the decisions. I pray, Father, that you'll guide us in this day. Father, order the days that put steps forward. We pray that this see you through this day. Father, we pray it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you for the music. Please join us in the pledge of American flag. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please join us in the pledge of the Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank y'all. All right. First action item on the agenda this morning is the court will open a public hearing in reference to the continuation of the Angelina County District Clerk's plan for Senate Bill 1685, which is archiving and restoration of historical record books. There's a sign-in sheet back there. Ricky, see if there's anybody's signatures on it. If anybody signed up to speak for or against the archival records. We have a member of the district clerk's office here, Lisa, here with us this morning in case we have questions. You want to kind of brief court and public on what the 1685 does for the clerk's office?
Right now, what we're doing is we are continuing to image our old civil, tax, and criminal cases for it to be available in our Odyssey system, and then eventually some of our tax suits, they go to the SFA. There is a research center that SFA has contacted us about that they will take and archive our older cases. Like they said, is $10 now. Come September 1st, it goes down to $5.
Why are we reducing fees?
State mandate.
State does. You know, the state sets it.
State sets it.
So when we come back, I guess y'all come back in September for us to reduce those fees from $10 to $5 at that time?
Sure.
Okay. So we're going to leave what your request now is for to leave them as they are now, which is $10.
$10, but there is a request also, I do believe, on that last sheet saying that it's gonna go down in September.
That's at 19 though, correct?
2018.
Saying
I put 19, my bad. It's 2018.
that's supposed to be 18.
Yep, that's my fault. But yes, it will go down again to $5.
Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Motion to approve. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Question on the effective date, January 10, is renewable, is it renewable every year in,
Yes.
in January?
And we conduct a public hearing every year. Continuation, continue that fee. Anything else? Any other questions? Anyone from the audience have anything to say for or against the archival fee? And since no one signed up, we will now move on down to item number 5 and close our public hearing. Item number 6, gentlemen, is discuss, consider, approve the continuation of the Angelina County District Clerk Plan for Senate Bill 1685, archiving and restoration of historical record books, and also authorizing the district clerk to collect a fee not to exceed $10 for filing in actions filed in the district clerk's office in accordance with Senate Bill 1685.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we got a motion and a second. Any discussion or
I
questions?
got something here
Yes,
again. Page 4 in this thing, it shows, which will decrease back to $5 effective 9/1/19. Is it 18?
Yes, it's 18.
Okay.
Yeah. That's just a typo.
Yeah, I'm just trying to make sure we're
Yeah.
on the right page here. Go ahead, Judge.
And although our current agenda item is a request to continue it at the current fee, we will come back in September and reduce that to $5 when the statute becomes effective. All right, any other questions or discussion?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And then at that time, in January, we can go back up to 10, is that the goal?
No, the state is reducing this, collecting this fee from $10 per filing to $5 per filing,
And then-
filings effective September 1. And it'll be $5 from now on, unless they increase or decrease it again or do away with it.
Okay.
All right, any other questions? All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimous. We will continue collecting that fee, and y'all continue storing and archiving those historical records, which is very important to this county. All right, item number 7 is discussion action on the contract between the Department of State Health Services and Angelina County Clerk's Office for the authority to continue to issue out-of-county birth certificates. This was on the agenda a meeting ago or so, and it was tabled. I think the county clerk was looking for more information, and I'll let her explain what she has.
Yes, I've kind of been going back and forth with them. Mr. Kirby reviewed the contract, and he has requested on page 14 that the 6.08 for the insurance, for that to be taken out. So I've marked through it, and if it's approved, Judge Suter will need to sign it and initial this, and then I'll send it back to them to see if they will accept it. If they do not accept it, then I'll have to bring it back before the court. So I'm just asking for you to approve the contract, striking the 6.08 insurance paragraph. And this is just a contract, this is just a service that we already provide to issue the out-of-county birth certificate.
Why did we strike the 6.0 insurance? Counselor?
Commissioner, the insurance requirement has been struck in the previous agreements. It's phrased that we're not only required to maintain liability insurance, and we're going to name the state as an additional insurer on our policy, which I think is objectionable. I don't really see any reason that we should name them as an additional insurer on our policy.
Okay.
Or assume such an obligation, so the whole paragraph's been struck on previous agreements, and so we reasserted that request in this one. We made some additional requests that they complied with as far as indemnification and some other things of that nature. This one they left in. It's sort of a long process to get them to address the request. Eventually have approved the removal of insurance in the past, so we thought it was appropriate to try to take that out.
Well, I see this contract was last updated in October of 2015, so evidently when they copied and pasted, that's from old information, they probably just.
It wasn't new.
Okay. Thank you.
Now, I believe in talking with Amy that they had agreed to strike this time, and so she sent it back to them, and they sent her the new contract,
Yeah.
but they left it in again.
They left it in again.
So,
Yes, verbally, they said they had taken it out, but it's still there.
yes.
Just 3 years as well? This one for 3 years as well?
I believe so.
It's in there, I mean, it's.
I did too, I didn't see it.
Do you remember reading how long the contract was for?
It's a 5-year.
5
Oh,
years.
this was for 5?
gentlemen. So if I'm not mistaken, the clerk is asking us to approve this contingent upon them removing section 608.
So moved, that, oh, sorry, it was just a second.
Second.
Where we have a motion and a second. Approve this contract between the Department of State Health Services and Angelina County, for the continuation of issuing out-of-state or out-of-county birth certificates, contingent upon Department of State Health Services striking section 6.08. Any other discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor of that motion say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign, motion carries. Item 8 is discussion and action on adoption of 2019 benefit plan for the TCDRS retirement plan for Angelina County employees. I should have a copy of that in your packet. And as y'all know, this is an annual topic we take up, our allocation to the retirement plan, our contribution rate. You can see our contribution rate is required as 9.5. Last year it was 9.6 or 7. But we left it at 10.05 so we can pay our liability down. I think that's a recommendation this year. It went to 9.5% of the required contribution rate. And our recommendation is just to leave it at 10.05 to help reduce our liability sooner than later. Right now we're fully funded 91.5%. So I think we were at 88 or 89 here just a few years ago. So we're gradually chipping away our liability for retirement system plan.
I move to approve.
Second.
Staying at 10.05?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we got a motion and a second to approve leaving our elected rate at 10.05% for the adoption of our TCDRS retirement plan. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor of that motion say
Aye.
all opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 9 is discussion action on a recommendation by the insurance company to approve the 2018-2019 Angelina County Wellness Program as submitted by GPA. Bring a copy of that. I don't have a copy. Here it is. You were there, you want to speak on behalf of the insurance committee?
The insurance committee is recommending that we proceed with the recommendation from GPA, our wellness coordinator, Jana Weaver. The program that she's recommending for July 1, 2018 through June 30th, 2019 is pretty much the same as we had last year with an exception on item number 3. And if you're looking at your brochure, the wellness program requirements is going to be 1, to complete an on-site health screening, 2, to meet or improve by 1% in 3 out of the 5 health screening targets, and 3, complete a preventive exam or vascular screening. The on-site health screening will be held again in February of 2019. The 3 out of 5 targets, health screening targets, they're the same 5 that we had last year, which is the waist circumference, triglycerides, the HDL cholesterol, the blood pressure, and the glucose. And you have to meet 3 out of the 5 targets there, and if you don't, then there are some alternatives on the next page that you can substitute to meet those requirements. That's why we have the health screening in February, to give you time to meet those targets by taking the online classes that they offer, that GPA offers. The new thing this year is, before, we just would have an annual physical. This year, we're changing it to a preventive exam or vascular screening. And the preventive exam, instead of it being just an annual physical, this year it would include a well woman exam, a colonoscopy, mammogram, a skin exam, or a mental health screening. And it also will include the vascular screenings, such as the heart scans or the aortic screenings that we do, that we have the option of doing in February. So the item number 3 is giving us more options as far as our annual physical. And if the employee meets all 3 of the program requirements, then they do not pay a $40 monthly premium. But if we do not meet all 3, then the employee will be charged $40 a month. And this is the same plan that we've had in place last year, other than the item number 3, including additional exams.
Did you say on item number 3, a physical yearly physical exam, or?
Yes.
Or and?
No,
Or, okay.
No, we're giving you more options this
Okay.
year. Last year, it was just strictly the physical exam. But this year, there's other preventive exams that you can have. And that's the whole idea, is prevention. So we're including this time the additional exam. So the insurance committee is recommending that the court adopt the recommended program as presented.
And I have a connection with the Burke Center if you want.
One thing I do have a problem with, which is, it's probably, we need to negotiate at some point possibly, is all your reasonable alternatives are online stuff. And I hear a lot of, mostly my guys, that they don't have computers and they don't do computers, so if they don't make the 3 or 3 out of the 5, then they're really limited to their options, for the coaching and stuff. I don't know if there's any options available for that, but.
What I see as a trend, we took some, the teleconferencing aspect they had in there, but it was like $105 an hour. You had to have the minimum number of hours you had to call in. So we didn't think, we took that out. It's pretty much cost prohibitive. Yeah. In order to have somebody, and was it effective or not, would they actually use it? So, we tried to get towards least restrictive on the employees and had as many options as they could without overburdening the cost of the plan. But then we can readdress again next year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, I'm sure.
What I see as a trend is they're putting more and more burden on our employees to try to meet this goal. And some of them can't afford the $40 a month premium.
I think, and that's why we gave them so many more alternatives this year, where it's not just they have to come get a physical exam. If they go to get a colonoscopy, if they do a mammogram or a well woman, which most of them do every other year, on the women's health care, but, it's giving them more options instead of just limiting to one option. So I think it's made it broader and given them more opportunity to get something that might be beneficial to them. We've got several employees that kind of griped about having to go through this also until they found out they had a major issue and ended up having major surgery, and now they're glad they did. So.
Another thing I would like to note, and I did last time, I think, that I regret seeing the nicotine come out of there, because I believe it was solely responsible for 2 or 3 of my employees quitting. Mm-hmm. They quit ahead of the screening to try to pass the screening, and they stayed quit. So, it's just something else that I wanted to throw out there, because I think you should be awarded if you're not don't have the nicotine, you know, in your body,
And we could, and maybe put that in as an alternative next year, looking at
but one of you,
the smoking cessation, you know, 'cause our insurance company paid for the treatment, so.
Sound like a good job for you on that
But
issue.
it's not, you know, the thing is, before it was mandated.
I support that.
You couldn't, so, as an alternative, as an option, I think that might be a good thing. All right, any other questions or discussion? We have a
Move to
motion.
approve.
Second.
All right, we got a motion and a second. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Next item on the agenda is item number 10. I guess I can move down so I can see the agenda item. Is discussion action on adopting the standard formulary unmanaged two-tier prescription plan, excluding the implementation of a mandatory mail service program for maintenance medication. Mr. Rick Steele's here. This is something the insurance committee also met on. Rick, you wanna go over this plan?
Yes, Judge. Insurance Committee is, Judge Suter pointed out, met this past week. When we approved last meeting the drug plan, we didn't specifically approve which of the 3 drug plans that we had an option to choose that we wanted. So the Insurance Committee went back and reviewed all 3 of the options. Actually, one of the options, number 1, was not really an option because it didn't give us the leadway to cover the more exotic drugs that sometimes are prescribed. So our decision was really predicated on items number 2 and 3. And we looked at number 3 more favorably because it caused or will cause less disruption within the employee workforce. We made the decision last month to move from Envision to Servview as our PBM, primarily because we had a couple of employees that were prescribed drugs that couldn't be covered under the Envision program. And so this change to option 3 will allow those drugs to be covered. Also has a rebate, which I think we did talk a little bit about last month as well. Rebate just predicated on current usage of about $55,000 roughly that'll come back to the county from the PBM program. As well, we'll save $2.50 per script on the dispensing fee, which is another $7,000 or $8,000 a year too, I would suspect. That won't be a rebate, it's just something that won't be charged within the program. But the committee did meet, the committee did unanimously approve the standard formulary unmanaged plan, which is number 3 on your printout. Any questions?
And let me explain what it means by excluding the implementation of a mail service program. One of the options was, and what they would like to have seen, was for us to implement a mandatory mail service for maintenance drugs, which meant if you were on a maintenance medication, that you could only get it through mail order. That you were limited, it's the only way you could get it. So we opted out of not making it mandatory, although you can still get it through the mail order, but you can also go to your pharmacy and get it now. You weren't excluded from being able to go to your local pharmacy and pick that up.
Yes, the way it was presented to us is that the first script in that program could be filled at your pharmacy, but from that point on, it would have to be mail order. We talked about that. I decided that, at least at this point, was not really a good idea, so we've cast that aside. So this won't include that.
And when will this service begin?
It'll take effect when the new plan year starts. That'll be August the 1st. In fact, we've got to decide today on this, literally, so we can, because we have to cancel one and institute another, and it takes time to do that, so we've got to move pretty quick on it.
Yeah, but I can't remember what it was.
Get an answer to it.
Still morning, I don't know.
Yeah.
The employees will have to go back to their doctor and get all new prescriptions.
That I don't know. I would think a lot of that would internally transfer, but I can't definitively tell you one way or the other on that.
This is gonna be covering more prescriptions or less prescriptions? More.
Yeah, it'll pick up, and again, the primary reason that we looked at this was not that we had a lot of scripts that weren't being covered. We only had one, but it was a doctor that several of our people were using, and that doctor was prescribing that same medication for 2 or 3 employees, so it was beginning to get to be a big deal. So we decided that we needed to change that, and this option gives us that advantage. And I'm not saying it's gonna cover the most exotic drug in the marketplace, but those that are out there that are available, we need to have access to it if we can possibly get it. So, and I can't speak for why Envision couldn't do that. I don't know why, they just said they couldn't. So we didn't have any choice. If these people were gonna have that medication, we were gonna have to make a change.
So they're filling prescriptions for a 90-day period instead of a 30-day period? Is that what I'm understanding?
No, you can do it
No.
90
Yeah.
or 30.
90 or 30?
Yeah,
And nothing we have now changes as far as being able to have access to your medicine. I mean, if you order 90 days to the mail generic, no fee. You order 30 days at your pharmacy, no fee. Your name brand, it's a cost, minimal cost associated with it, but all that stays the same. It's just expands, like Rick said, there's some employees that have a certain medication that Envision wouldn't cover, now this one will. There's a smaller prescription fee that this company charges that Envision didn't, and then the rebate based on the medications that we've historically used will come back to the county.
So we're not losing services?
no, in fact, we ended up with a bonus on,
Yeah.
on the rebate and also on the dispensing fee, so this turned out to be a big win for everybody.
Thank you.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the formulary unmanaged two-tier prescription plan excluding the mandatory mail service program for maintenance medications. Okay, you need to authorize me to sign this?
Authorized.
Okay. Any other questions or discussions? Hearing none, all in favor of that motion say aye. Oh, painful. Opposed, same sign. All right, that motion carries unanimous. Item number 11 is considering miscellaneous and routine items. We have a report from Ryan Merrill with the Texas AgriLife Extension Office here in Angelina County. And that's the only report we have this court session.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve that monthly report. Any discussion or questions on that report? Y'all have a copy of it. Hearing none, all in favor of that motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Item number 12 is consider approval of authorization for payment of bills as submitted by the auditor's office. You have a copy of those bills in your packet.
Move to pay the bills.
Second.
All right, we've got a motion and a second. Any discussion, questions, corrections, changes? Submit them as is. All right, all in favor of that motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Still on item number 13, I will entertain a motion to adjourn or recess.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All right, we got a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor of that motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We're adjourned. Thank y'all for coming today.